Investment guru Warren Buffett sells himself every year. Usually, people are willing to pay up to $500,000 for lunch with this man, and the proceeds go to charity. Warren Buffett comes from Omaha, Nebraska. He was born on August 30, 1930, to the family of a stockbroker and Republican Congressman, Howard Buffett. He was the second of 3 children. Even as a child, he had an extraordinary sense for playing with numbers. It started when he impressed people around him with precise data about the population of all American states and cities. Once he began attending elementary school, he sought his first opportunity to make money. At the age of 6, he began selling Coca-Cola bottles. He would buy a pack of 6 bottles for 25 cents and then distribute them in the neighborhood, selling each bottle for 5 cents. He made a profit of 20% on each sale. This business model later served him well in the world of finance. At the age of 11, Warren's brokerage genes began to show. He approached his father with an unusual request to borrow a small sum of money. Instead of spending it on candies or toys, he used the money to buy 3 shares of City Service, a municipal service company. Each share cost him $38, but their value quickly dropped to $27. Not losing his nerve, young Buffett waited a bit, and soon the value of each share rose to $40, prompting him to sell. This earned him his first small profit, but he also learned a valuable lesson: the stock's value might not reflect the true worth of the company.
You went back to that day in 1942 because it was the day you purchased your first stock, which point out you were 11 years old then.
Right.
So
yeah, and
this is the New York Times from 1942 that day.
Yeah, the 1942 New York Times, sold for 3 cents, and I also got the headlines from some days before, and the night before on March 10th, I said to my dad, I want to go all in. I had $125, and I put every bit of it in 3 shares of City Service Preferred. And as I pointed out to the crowd, I bought that stock at 38 and a quarter. It was down from 84 the year before, and it was down from 55 in January. And I thought, I'm really buying it cheap. So it went down to 27 after I bought it, and I sold at 40.
His trading skills were further developed under the mentorship of Benjamin Graham, who organized investment seminars at that time. Buffett continued to improve himself. His interests extended beyond just trading stocks. He also pursued traditional business ventures. While most boys of his age were building forts, young Buffett preferred to sit at home, writing his first tax return. He included his bike and a watch, totaling $35, which he used for delivering newspapers. This job earned him much more than any of his teachers made at that time. Besides delivering newspapers, he enjoyed going to horse races with a friend, where they decided to place bets. Despite being underage, they managed to do it discreetly. They took advantage of people's ignorance. Those who were there for the first time believed that if their horse didn't come in first, they won nothing. But that was a misconception. Even if the horse finished second or third, they still had a claim to a portion of the winnings. While people angrily discarded their tickets, Buffett and his friend had a good time. After his father was elected to Congress, the Buffetts moved to Washington. There, Warren attended Woodrow Wilson High School and started planning how to make even more money. He made $1,200 from selling securities, and with that money, he bought 40 acres of valuable farmland in Nebraska, which he immediately leased to a local farmer. In his last year of high school, he and his friend bought a pinball machine, which they placed in a local barbershop. Within a month, they could afford 2 more machines. As he contemplated his future, attending college was a clear choice for young Buffett. He wanted to get a technical background for his investment ventures at the University of Nebraska. In the evenings, he studied the books of Benjamin Graham, the American economist who specialized in stock valuation. Buffett took Graham's advice to heart, which was to ignore the trends on Wall Street and instead search for stocks that traded well below their true value. Graham referred to such stocks as cigar butts, and Buffett decided to buy them.
The cigar butt approach to investing, which is where you try and find a really kind of pathetic company, but it sells so cheap that you think there's one good free puff left in it. We used to pick up a lot of soggy cigar butts, I had a portfolio full of them.
However, finding such undervalued companies was not an easy task, and Buffett had to arm himself with immense patience and carefully study the financial statements of dozens of firms. And right here, he utilized his excellent mathematical vision. When Buffett was not accepted into the business school at Harvard University, he applied to Columbia University in New York. Here, he began working for Benjamin Graham. Buffett's salary was $12,000 per year, which was a princely income at that time. During this period, he had little time for a private life. Perhaps that's why he chose to marry a longtime family friend, Susan Thompson, whom he married in 1952. The following year, she gave birth to their first child. Before Warren returned to his hometown of Omaha in 1957, he already had 2 children, and the third was on the way. He purchased a house and moved his entire family into it. In Omaha, Buffett started his first independent investment activity. He became the manager of a local investors association, which entrusted him with $25,000. In their name, Buffett began buying and selling shares of various companies very successfully. When this partnership dissolved in 1969, Buffett had already shown outstanding achievements. As he climbed to the top of the business world, his personal life was crumbling. In the late 70s, his wife Susan moved out of their home. She was no longer interested in living according to the perpetually busy Warren and decided to return to her career as a cabaret singer. She moved to San Francisco, but she never officially divorced Warren. Warren was devastated. Susan couldn't bear to see her unhappy husband for long, so she soon introduced him to Astrid Menks, an attractive Latvian waitress. Astrid soon moved in with Warren in his residence in Omaha, and the life of the millionaire took a completely different direction. Over the next few years, Warren continued to amass his wealth. He became the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, a company that controls insurance, aviation, food, and several other very successful firms. Under its protective umbrella are companies like Coca-Cola, American Express, and the publisher of the prestigious Washington Post newspaper. In 2001, the world-renowned company Gillette also became a part of this portfolio. When Warren bought a controlling stake in the company, he quipped, "Today, 2.5 billion men will shave."
There's 71% in blades and razors. There's some countries where it's 90. In the U.S., it's also about 70%. Those are huge market shares of something people use every day. Well, you're not going to have galloping percentage increases from that arena, but the company's made basically good progress.
And he was right. The company soon reached a market value of $35 billion. Billionaire Warren Buffett, at 93 years old, is a living legend among investors, and undoubtedly, we can consider him one of the greatest investors of all time. His wealth is estimated to be around $106 billion, and Forbes magazine currently ranks Warren Buffett as the 6th richest person in the world.